Chris Bosh defended his former Heat teammate LeBron James on SiriusXM radio this week, trying to soften some of the criticism the King received after his early playoff exit. Bosh said, quote, "We're not going to understand and appreciate LeBron in the game until he's done playing. One of the best teammates I've ever had. Team first guy, loves to come to work. He was a leader. The only difficult thing about playing with LeBron was that it was going to be a show every night. You're going to have to be great that night. You're going to have to give your best," which I think makes a lot of sense. Yeah. Shannon, do you think LeBron has been underappreciated?
Yeah, I don't really think we ever really truly appreciate what we're witnessing, Skip, until it's gone.
That's a good point.
And then once it's gone, you sit back and you reflect. Because I don't really think people realize just what they were watching when they had Bird and Magic and when they had Jordan. And then you go back and you reflect. And I think a lot of people look back at The Last Dance and they're like, man, he really could fly. He really could do those things. And so, Skip, when you're in it, take Kobe. Skip, how many times did you hear somebody, when Kobe Bryant was playing, somebody mention Mamba mentality? Nobody mentioned it. Everybody say Kobe a ball hog. He shoot too much. He won't ever pass the ball. But the moment Kobe retired, you got a greater appreciation for what he actually did and just how great Kobe was. Now everybody, Mamba mentality. Skip, from the college level, anybody hits a shot, you hear, be it male or female, they talk about Mamba mentality. Kobe Bryant, AD hit that shot in the bubble. Skip, what? The dude turned Kobe. Skip, ain't what nobody doing that when Kobe played. So you don't get an appreciation.
I mean, Mamba mentality was a big thing at the end of Kobe's career, last 3 or 4 years.
But nobody was saying Mamba mentality. No, I didn't hear nobody say it. I didn't hear them talk about Mamba mentality. Kobe said it, but I'm talking about all these other guys and all these other guys, D Book and all these guys that showed the affinity and the appreciation for Kobe. That love came, that adoration came as Kobe was in retirement. Got no problem with it, but I'm just saying, Skip, we don't appreciate Brady. We didn't appreciate the greats. You're not going to fully understand what Brady was able to do until he's done, because he's doing it, Skip. And then when you go the next 30 years and there might be one quarterback that win 2 and you sit back and you're like, well, hold on, wait a minute. How the hell did Brady win like 7, 8? And he went to 5 in like a 5-year span. He went to 5 again, another 5. How the hell he do that? And these guys can't go to back-to-backs. Then you'll get an appreciation for what he actually did. But I don't really think anybody, forget it, Skip, writers. You didn't realize how great a speaker Dr. King was, or Churchill.
I'll buy that.
Until now, and when you get back and you read all the quotes, he said all that. I believe this is the same thing with LeBron. You don't realize, you see all the things, all the awards, the all-star games, and the all-NBAs, and the points, and the finals. When you sit back, once he's done, and you digest what he did in his career, I think you'll have a greater appreciation for it.
Okay, I do believe that Tom Brady, up to this point, has been rightfully and fully appreciated for everything he's done. I just do.
No.
Because I sure do.
No, Skip, you don't. No, you do. But because you know why you do it? Because you spent damn near 50 years around the game of the NFL, and you know how hard it is to get to Super Bowls. Everybody think because Tom has done it 10 times, people think it's easy.
Okay. I love Chris Bosh, and I've had my battles with Chris Bosh, and I think he had his battles trying to be the third wheel that first couple of years in Miami, because it was rough on him.
Yes.
He took the scapegoat heat because everybody said, it's your fault,
right,
Chris Bosh. But he lived to tell, and LeBron obviously helped him to win 2 rings that put him on the map the rest of his career. And unfortunately, God bless him, but his career got cut short. But he got his 2 rings with LeBron. So as his heart grows fonder for those times, because, as you know, your brain tends to lessen the negative and accentuate the positive as time passes.
Right.
So if that's what you're talking about, maybe you start to think, oh, yeah, I forget that he did that, and I forget that he did that. But it's hard for me to forget, when you're talking about LeBron as a leader, that game 1 at Oracle. I just can't get it out of my hand in 2018 when obviously LeBron turned down the last shot. JR lost his mind. And then LeBron just quit on his team in overtime. He just didn't want to play. Remember, he distanced himself from the team. Well, don't give me great leader there. And then just recently in that game at Phoenix when they were getting blown out, he just leaves the bench. He distanced himself from his team and walks up the runway to the locker room with 5:40 left in the game.
So you say Tom Brady's a great leader. Mm-hmm. So does a great leader yell at Taekwon Underwood?
Yeah.
Does a great leader get into it with his coach, offensive coordinator?
Yeah.
See, well, hold on.
I mean, he was yelling at a rookie.
No. Okay. That's not what leaders do.
Who got cut 2 games later.
See, you see what you did?
Okay,
you
well,
made an excuse for his leadership.
Well, that's just leadership. Did Jordan yell at? Yeah.
Okay, then.
He devastated.
So in
players.
other words, so a great leader is punching somebody in the face.
Okay, but my point is that you don't walk away from your team. You don't quit on your team. Brady's never quit on them or walked away and said, I don't want to associate
That's what you said when he threw that last pick six, his last game in New England. You said he just didn't care, like, get me out of here.
That's not true. I didn't say that.
Yeah, you said it.
I didn't say anything like that.
Yeah,
but,
you said it.
but the point is, LeBron has been very appreciated. In fact, in some ways, he's been overappreciated because the media adores him. By and large, I'm like a lone wolf of just objectivity on LeBron. Help me out. Who is objective about LeBron in the media?
Me.
He is. You? Are you kidding?
Yeah.
He's the most overprotected superstar we've ever had.
Can I ask you a question? Your favorite writer is Shakespeare. Mm-hmm. Do you believe Shakespeare was revered and thought of when he was writing as he is today?
I'm not even sure who he was. There's a lot of discrepancy about, did he even exist? Was it somebody else? Was there really a William Shakespeare?
What about Picasso or Rembrandt?
Yeah.
Or Edvard Munch? Do you think they were revered No. But now we look at the work that they did. Michelangelo. Now we look at it.
I'm pretty sure, I didn't live then, but I think they were pretty revered.
No, Monk was a madman.
Yeah. I agree with you, like with Dr. King. You look back now and you say,
of course.
Wow,
right.
that speech.
We're going to look back 20 years from now and go, Jay, you go like,
I think we will.
Maybe we'll look back and say, wait a second, he wasn't that great.
I think we need to enjoy while we have this time with LeBron to watch the brilliance on display. I honestly, you have to sit back and appreciate it. And we're going to move on, guys. Well, Paul George hold the Clippers back from making their first ever Western Conference Finals. Skip, what do you got over there? Don't go anywhere. Player. And not surprisingly, LeBron was the most disliked baller in 24 states as well as the most hated overall. Kyrie Irving came in second with 18 states disapproving of the Nets point guard, followed by his Brooklyn teammates, James Harden and Kevin Durant with 3 states each. So Chris Broussard is still with us. And before we jump into this, my parents never let me say I hated anyone growing up. I could only say I strongly disliked them. So Chris, I don't know if I like this. How do you explain it?
I think it's simple. LeBron James stands for something. And you guys know on this show, when you stand boldly and unashamedly for something, you're going to have people that love you and you're going to have people that hate you. And LeBron stands up. The first thing he stands up for is against racial and social injustice. You can argue that LeBron is the player that started this whole movement across these various sports leagues of players standing up against injustice. It was back in, 2012, 2013, when he and the Miami Heat did the hoodie photo about Trayvon Martin and his death. And so that was before, several years. Yeah, that was years before Kaepernick, Colin Kaepernick started kneeling during the national anthem. So that's something that a lot of people don't like. And LeBron's obviously been outspoken against racial and social injustice. He did the More Than a Vote campaign, which had an impact on the most polarizing election maybe in our lifetimes. And so for all of those reasons, there are a lot of people that dislike LeBron James. If you I looked at the map with the story of, where the people hated LeBron the most. And they were pretty much all the red states. It was those states. It was the middle of the country, the upper, the northern Midwest, Montana, Nebraska, the Dakotas, places like that where they aren't feeling LeBron James. So that's number one. Number two, he stands for player empowerment. When LeBron had the audacity to say, I, as a player, can put together a team better than my front office. They can't get me nobody. I'm going to go ahead and build a championship team myself. Bird went to a championship team. Magic went to a championship team. I'm going to have to build one myself, and he did it when most of the country was hating on him because of it. That was polarized, and a lot of people don't like that. He started this trend, which is now commonplace, of players putting their teams together. I honestly do not believe the thought of even crosses Kevin Durant's mind to go to Golden State if LeBron had not gone to Miami. I don't think Anthony Davis, a year and a half before his contract ends, thinks about going to the Lakers, except for LeBron had done this. I don't think the big three in Brooklyn would be together. Like, Harden wouldn't have done what he did had not LeBron started it. So LeBron showed the players the power that they actually have. And it's even trickling into the other leagues, as we see, with the NFL, Russell Wilson, Deshaun Watson, things like that. So that's the second thing. Thirdly, I think the Michael Jordan GOAT comparisons is another reason.